great to be a Miami Hurricane. I mean, every day it's great to be a Miami Hurricane, especially when we were winning. But either way, we're winning off the field right now. It's the second year we've been off-season warriors, man. We got to make it to the fall season, but we'll see. I'm excited.
What the wholesome one's referring to here is 3 notes concerning 3 very prominent players, and so we'll run them down, and we'll start with Jason Marshall. He's the 3rd-rated cornerback in the country, and as the wholesome one has outlined and Cam Underwood many times, when you talk left tackle, when you talk, of course, quarterback, when you talk corner, edge rusher, you're talking elite positions, and when those players are that high, man, it grabs your attention. We're talking a top 30 player in the nation, regardless of position, out of Miami Palmetto, and he has listed Miami in its top 5.
Absolutely. Amongst some really good programs, amongst LSU, amongst Alabama, amongst Oregon, and amongst Florida, who all had great seasons compared to what the University of Miami had. But recently, and I think another thing that opened it up for the University of Miami is because his main recruiter has moved on from Florida to his home school and alumni of Mississippi State. And that was Coach Justin Chaney, cornerbacks coach or DB, whatever. He was his main recruiter, and he left there and switched over to Mississippi State. And I think that really opened up things for the University of Miami, who I honestly believe, as a biased Miami Hurricanes fan, Miami's always been in play, but we had to give him a reason to stay home. It's obvious amongst anybody who knows college football that if the University of Miami is rolling, the local players, of course, we won't sign everybody, but the local players will be in play. And we have not given them a reason to want to stay, at least the elite of the elite. We haven't given them a reason to want to stay, especially if you're talking about a business decision for their future. But we're working on it. And hopefully, like I said before, hopefully we're going to take those steps on the football field. But as far as recruiting and as far as in the off season, Coach Benny Diaz has done a very, very good job in his short tenure as the head coach at Miami.
All right. So Jason Arnold names Miami in his top 5. Jabari Ishmael is going to announce today, edge rusher. Let's get the numbers on him. He's out of Columbus High School in Miami, 14th rated weak side defensive end. He's a top 200 type player in the country, 20th rated player in the state of Florida. That's all according to the 247 composite.
Oh, yes. And just to correct myself, his name is Jamar Chaney, the coach from Florida that left to Mississippi State. Just want to make sure I correct myself. But when you talk about Jabari Ishmael, man, you talk about a kid that, everybody who's 6'5+ plus is going to get compared to Greg Rousseau and his production and him moving from 218 all the way up to 260 in a calendar year as far as being a red shirt and being able to climb up the ladder weight room wise. What we can say is the fact that this young man has had ties to the program since birth. His father worked at the University of Miami and still does as one of the strength and conditioning coaches for a very, very long time here at Miami. This young man at 6'5", 218-ish, he has an ability to come in and redshirt and put on the weight properly. And I talk about ad nauseum, if you want to build something that is sustainable, you don't need players to contribute to your program until year 3, whether that be as a redshirt sophomore or as a true junior. With the depth that we have at defensive end, bringing in a guy like this with his size and length and being able to add him to Coach David Philly for at least 2 years before we really need him to start doing something, this young man is going to be signing up for something big. Now, like I said, he's supposed to be committing later on today. In all likelihood, it will be the University of Miami. If it is not, we will continue to recruit him. But I think this is our sole or maybe one of the 2 defensive ends we do pick up in this class.
Leonard Taylor is a guy we've been talking about with you and with Cam for quite some time, as he obviously, again, Miami Palmetto High School, the Palmetto 5, and he is prominent in that mix. Wow. 3rd-rated defensive tackle in the country. You guys are in play for some serious talent across the board, and you don't need to get all of them. You would love to, but if get your fair share of who you're in the mix for, man, this recruiting class could be stellar. Leonard Taylor is about 3 weeks away, August 6th, from naming his final decision.
Absolutely. And if we do get to hold on to things, to me, I believe if we do have an early signing period, which I don't know the answer to that question just yet, in all likelihood, we probably will still have a December for those who automatically are ready to go ahead and get pen to paper and get it rolling. But if we do not, I don't really, it's either give or take. But if Miami has the opportunity to sign these young men in December, I think we're going to have a big time recruiting class. And it's mind blowing. I mean, 6 and 7, and now in all likelihood going to have a top 10, at least a top 15 recruiting class. We've talked about this pass rushing 3 technique for weeks, for months, whether it was the great Cam Underwood or whether I'm blessed to be on this platform and talk about him. I mean, you talk about Miami Hurricanes, when we have a good team, one of the biggest things we do have is a dominant 3 technique. In the history of the Miami Hurricanes, you think about your Warren Saps, you think about your Cortez Kennedys, you think about your Russell Marylands, you think about your RJ McIntoshes recently, you think about your Allen Baileys of the 2010s. You think about Gerald Willis, even though that turned out to be 7 and 6. But if you talk about us having some really good seasons, it's an interior player who's not only big time in pass rush, but they can get after the run, and they're blowing guards up, and they are continuously being in the backfield affecting the play. And that's what you're looking at with Leonard Taylor. I mean, he's a 3 technique who's 6'4", 255 pounds right now, before he even gets into a strength and conditioning program at the Division I level. So that means this guy's projected to be 280, 285, 290 by his second or third year with no problem. Already showing that playmaking ability. The man had 2 interceptions at defensive tackle. I mean, you're talking about a big-time prospect who a 6 or 7 team should have no say-so in his commitment. But not only are we in the say-so, we are top 2. So we're about less than a month away. Things could be very, very great for us moving forward. And we're excited, man. We are excited.